Good morning, everybody. Well, we have finally kicked 2022 to the curb and we have welcomed in 2023. About a week later than we'd like to, because it took us a while to get caught up from everything last fall, but we're finally into 2023. And we've already got a project we're going to get started on. Actually, not us, somebody else is going to get started on. Now, I know you in the past you've heard me talk about the piss poor quality of paint on all of our agricultural equipment. You know, the amount of money that we're spending for this equipment, and they put on some of the, worst paint possible, no clear coats or anything, and leaves our, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 equipment looking like crap after a few years. Today, we're gonna have something done about that.
I'm not going to be able to go up. You're right under the here.
All right, who we got here today with us today is Brian from Front Row Detailing. We got Brian and his son, what's your son? And his son Jesse. And what they're going to be doing is hopefully restoring several of my pieces of equipment back to new by giving them a really good cleaning first and then applying a long-lasting ceramic coating. All right, Brian, so why don't you tell me a little bit about your business and what you hope to accomplish here today?
So, like you said, I'm Brian with Front Row Detailing. We're based in Huntsville, Alabama. We focus on heavy equipment such as this tractor behind me. We make sure that it goes from faded to new, or at least faded looking new. We start by doing a full wash and decontamination process on all the equipment. Then we come back and we do a ceramic coating that actually becomes one with the surface, so you'll never have to wax again, it won't fade anymore, and it's just much easier to keep clean at the end of the harvest.
Now, I've made no secret of the fact that we pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for this equipment, but the paint that they use on them in the paint process is pretty much crap, definitely not deserving of what should be on this equipment. So why don't you tell me a little bit about the problems you see with the manufacturer's paint that they use on, whether it's John Deere, Case IH, New Holland, or whatnot, as compared to automotive paints?
Yeah, so the biggest difference is there's no clear coat on the heavy equipment like this, like there is a car. Also, the chemical abuse that these tractors and combines and sprayers and everything goes through on a farm, a vehicle, yours, mine, we don't have to deal with that. If these had clear coat on it, it would just eat right through the clear. So the manufacturers have gone with a single stage paint, or on some of the gel coat and fiberglass pieces, they're just completely dipped, but they do fade. So you're out in the field all day long and the sun is just beating down on it. It's kind of like being down on Panama City Beach without sunscreen for a day. You know what's going to do to your skin. Well, that's exactly what's happening to these tractors, all day long when they're out in the field, season after season after season. So what our ceramic coating does, it becomes one with that paint, so that it inhibits the UVs from making it fade. Nothing's going to be able to adhere to it, so any of the bad stuff that you get out in the field, and the big thing is the chemical resistance. You can spray any of these chemicals on there, and as long as you don't let them sit on for years on end, it's never going to be able to get through and etch the paint like this tractor and some of your other tractors have.
Now, how does the ceramic coating that you're going to apply, how does it differ from your traditional wax or your ceramic sprays that you see advertised everywhere?
So anything like a wax or a paint sealant or a ceramic spray, that's nothing more than a paint sealant. It's sitting on top of that level, it's sitting on top of the surface. Anytime it says like a ceramic sealant, that's something called an SiO2 base. Not to get too scientific with you, but that's just riding on top of the surface. I can take a couple different chemicals, and in a short matter of time, all that's going to come off and you won't be protected. Traditionally, you know, farmers, car owners, they've all used wax. RV owners, you know, we've all used wax to, you know, protect and make our equipment look new and shiny. But the problem is wax breaks down. I believe at 81 degrees, it breaks down in like 3 days. So you could wax it today, get it out on 3 hot days, and now you no longer have any protection. And that's when now the UV starts to kill it. Your chemicals start to etch away at the paint, and it just starts to look bad. So then the industry came out with the ceramic sprays. Kind of made the wax last a little bit longer, but the same problem is it's sitting there riding on the surface. So the ceramic coating that we use is something called an SiC base. It actually becomes one with the surface. So instead of riding on top of it and can be removed, like we talked about chemically, the only way to remove the coating that we're using is actually through heavy abrasion. So what that's going to give you the benefit of is at the end of harvest, you can take any of the chemicals that you want, but you'll no longer be using the harsh chemicals to clean it, but use a pressure washer, a little bit of chemicals like what we're using here, and all that stuff is just going to come off. All your chemicals, all the dirt, all the manure, all the stuff that, you know, you go through the farms and get on the tractors.
Well, what I'd noticed is, you know, in the past, we really try to take really good care of our equipment, especially the physical appearance of it. And up until about 2 years ago, you know, we used different waxes, you know, even the higher end waxes. And at best, you know, we saw maybe 2 to 3 months of protection. And then 2 years ago, we started switching to a ceramic spray, and we did see a lot better protection out of that. But at best, it was maybe 6 months before we lost any kind of hydrophobic properties, and we still noticed our paint continuing to fade even after doing all of that. So
right. Most of those products, they're more geared towards, like I mentioned, the hydrophobics. You know, you pour water on it, it's going to look nice, but the moment you put chemicals on it, it's going to eat all that stuff away. You keep it out in the sun too long, and it's just going to just eat it away because there's not a lot of UV inhibitors in those sealants that are out there.
Now the traditional ceramic sealants, they're looking at what, maybe 25% silica content, whereas your product is almost 100% silica content based on what I saw online?
Every ceramic coating that's out there has a little different formulation. You have some that are SiO2 based. You have some that talk about graphene. A lot of the stuff that's out there is more marketing and buzzwords than anything else. But at the end of the day, if you look at the science, okay, that's the important part. To know what these chemicals will actually do. Look at the data. Okay, you can on the coating that we're using on this, I could pour ethanol all over this tractor. An hour later, rinse it off, and there's no damage to the paint. It looks the same. Okay, I can take battery acid, which has a pH of 0, and let it sit there for hours upon hours upon hours, and it's not going to damage it because nothing's going to penetrate. If you think about your skin has pores, right? Paint on equipment, paint on cars, they all have pores. The ceramic coating is actually filling those pores in so that none of that stuff can get into it.
Well, if y'all know me, y'all watch my videos, y'all know I love the science. So I'm going to try not to bore you too much in this video with the science behind it, but I'm definitely going to be having some conversations with Brian about diving deep down in the science. But so anyway, you explained really good what you're going to accomplish. So kind of walk us through the actual process of what of how you take a tractor that never been done before and make it where this stuff's going to last, what, 5, 6, 7, 8, even maybe even permanently if you take care.
Properly maintained, unlike a lot of coatings on the market, doesn't mean that annually you have to come back and reapply ceramic. Properly maintained to us means you're just doing a proper maintenance decontamination wash on the unit to get everything off of it. As long as you do that, it's going to last the life of the paint. And that's the advantage that you have. You know, you're going through, and you might not have time today to wash it when you take it off the field. You might not have time next week to wash it. But as long as you don't let it sit on, like I mentioned, for years and years and years, it's going to last. what we're going to do on this piece of equipment, as well as your other ones, like I said, we're starting with prepping the surface. The reason you want to prep the surface is so when we go to the next step of polishing, and then after that, the ceramic coating, all that stuff makes a proper bond to the surface. Kind of like painting your house, you know, anything you want to paint and work with, preparation is the key.
Because if the preparation is done improperly, the ceramic coating will actually lock in any kind of imperfection in the paint, and there's nothing you can do about it without physically removing the ceramic coating.
Exactly, and more importantly, it's going to fail, which is what we don't want. I mean, you're paying good money for this. You want to make sure that A, your tractor looks new again, and B, a year, 2 years, 5 years down the road, it still looks new again. And that's the whole point of doing what we're doing today.
So the key is, if you're going to determine that you're going to spend this amount of money to properly protect your paint, is you got to find somebody, whether you do it or somebody else does it, that they're going to do a proper prep job, because that could be the life of the product.
Well, it could be a very costly mistake. I mean, if we just skip this, we just washed it and then we start, you know, rubbing some stuff on the surface, it's not going to do any good, right? Because we didn't clean the pores, we didn't open up that paint so we can bond with it when we get to that step.
Now, you know, in addition to this, the wash that you're doing, you're using some pretty stout solvents to strip all the existing wax, ceramic, any contaminants in the paint. You're doing that right now.
Correct.
Then you'll go back, you use a clay bar or anything to pull any more imperfections out of the paint, or you just do a polishing? Or?
So depending on the surface, yes, we will use a clay towel. It's more effective to us than using
clay towel, I hadn't heard of that.
Yep.
Why don't you check that out?
I'll show you that. We use that a lot on automotive paint. We don't necessarily use it a lot on the gel coat and fiberglass surfaces, but we do a lot of the same steps with removing the iron. On vehicles like you'll see on the Durango that we'll do, we'll actually use the iron remover along with the clay towel at the same time, using the iron remover as the lubricant, so we're kind of cutting down a step there.
And then the last step before you actually apply the ceramic coating, you're going to polish it to remove any oxidized paint.
Correct. And anything, I mean, obviously this right now, if you can see that, it is showing some shine, but a lot of the oxidation is on the roof and the hood where it gets hit all day long. But you know, this right now, because it's wet, it does have a little bit of shine to it. But we'll go through and we'll shine all the blue there, the metal below it, back here your fenders. We'll get the glass all cleaned up. We also coat the glass so that when you are driving out there, it's a pleasurable experience with you. If you're driving down the road, you got to go to town to get something worked on, it starts raining, well, it's basically like Rain-X, but it's Rain-X on steroids, where nothing's, you know, adhering to your windshield. Bugs or anything that might hit you, just wipe it off with a towel. Dust or anything, just blow off with a leaf blower.
Now, while this is an expensive service that you're offering, you do more than just the body panels. I mean, you do frame rails, handrails, maybe some of the plastics, the fenders, not to mention the glass.
Yeah, so like on the sprayer that we'll do, you'll see a lot more intricate stuff gets coated on that, because, you know, on a tractor like this, you have a lot of flat panels. On other pieces of equipment, combine sprayers, you have the rails, you have a lot of exposed frame underneath, and we'll get a lot more into that.
And traditionally, like myself, when I'm detailing something in the shop at the end of the year, you know, we pay a lot of attention to the body panels, so that's mainly what you see, but, you know, we don't put ceramic coating or wax on the rails and other stuff, and to me, it's the little details like that that's really going to keep your equipment looking brand new, hopefully for years to come.
Absolutely.
The first spray was a degreaser. All right, check this out. You see that red, pink? That's the iron that's being removed by this solvent right there. It's really, see all that is iron that this is removing, you know, contaminants that's going to, you know, prevent the ceramic coating from adhering real good. That's about as good visual proof that this stuff actually works. All right, you've already applied 2 products on there. What are you putting on there now?
So this right here is going to be a car soap specifically for tractors, RVs, boats, and marine. It's going to be it's going to remove the oxidation along with clean the paint and clean all the surfaces. And I'm going to come back with our lamb's wool mitt and a lamb's wool on our pole. We're going to agitate it, get all the rest of the dirt and all the grime off of there so we can come back and polish off and get your paint looking brand new.
All right, so the first thing you applied was a degreaser, and then you applied the iron remover.
The first thing we applied was the all-purpose cleaner, which is somewhat of it is a degreaser, and then the second we came back with the iron remover, and now we're going to follow up with the car soap.
Gotcha. All right, so it smells a whole lot better than that iron remover does.
And it smells like some bubble gum.
All right, now what you're using there is lamb's wool, which is really, really easy on the paint, correct?
Correct.
All right, you did the three-step treatment process on Kelly's Durango, just like you did the tractor.
Right.
And what are you doing now?
So for the paint on cars compared to paints on the tractors, they're different. So the third step with the car wash is just a little bit different. Instead of using the spray on soap and spraying it off using a lamb's wool, we use a rinseless wash on all of our vehicles, like trucks, sedans, all this just with this car paint. We'll take the rinseless wash with this sponge, take it on the whole car, come back over it with the clay towel, and the clay towel is going to decontaminate the entire vehicle. So it's just kind of our process after we do the APC and the iron remover. We come back with that along with some bug brush we got in there just to get everything off before we start polishing.
And that clay towel is pretty much the same thing as a clay bar.
So yeah, it's pretty much the modified version of the clay bar. Clay bar is just kind of it's a little bit more difficult to use, I would say. I mean, I love the clay towel just because you fold it up into four, so you have four different sections almost, and then it's just a breeze getting off the contamination.
Now, when y'all do the buffing process, like these minor scratches and stuff, y'all gonna be able to take those out?
So each package comes with, for ceramic coating, the basic package is going to come with the one-step removal, and on our side we kind of pick what we're going to do for that one step. Different pads, different abrasions. So with what I had in mind, one of our pads is going to come out, it's going to cut and finish at the same time. So yeah, minor scratches like this, and like you were pointing out over here, it may not get it out 100% depending on how deep it is, but it is going to remove about 99% of it.
Gotcha.
So it's going to look much better than it did before.
Now, how good is the ceramic coating at actually preventing scratches like that?
So I wouldn't say that ceramic coating is based around preventing scratches, because obviously it's just a thin layer that goes on top of your paint. So I mean, you can take a nail, it's obviously going to create a scratch, but I mean in terms of like leaves and little things that make like small scratches, I would say it does its job, but it's not going to obviously stop anyone from like a key or tree branches,
yes,
anything like that.
Something severe like that. All right, you done the three-step washing and decontamination process on this tractor. What are you working on now?
Now we're starting to polish and get the oxidation off the tractor.
All right, and you've already done a section here.
Correct.
Let's see if I can find an angle where it works. All right, I don't know if you can tell, but there's a line right here, and everything to the left you've already polished, and everything to the right you have not done yet.
Correct.
I'm trying to see if we can pick it up on camera, because it's a very obvious difference right here to my eyes. But holy crap, I don't think this paint was this good brand new from the factory. I mean, that looks like almost automotive quality paint, and we ain't even gotten to the ceramic part yet. That's just the polishing part. And then you can kind of see, you can see a lot of glare right here, oxidized paint. I mean, it looks good for a 9-year-old tractor, But compared to this over here, that's a pretty stark contrast.
But you'll notice some of the scratches and micro marring too. If you can see into the light there, so kind of like you can see the scratches, and then if you can kind of pick up that same light when you move into that.
Yeah, I mean, you're not seeing anything right here, whereas, oh wow, there's a big, look, we go across right there, look at that contrast. That's a big difference right there. Man, that's a pretty shade of blue. I like that.
And you can even see on the pad, you know, that's all the oxidation that came off.
Yeah. It's gonna be the last time any oxidation is gonna come off this tractor. So how far can paint be gone, oxidized? Obviously, if you got rust, you're not gonna be able to help it. But how far gone can paint be, and you still actually be able to do something to protect what you got?
On this substrate, it can be pretty far. We can get it back to this.
As long as you don't have anything going down through the paint.
As long as it's not etched in.
Now you haven't done anything on this black.
Nope, not yet.
Now, I mean, I know you're not going to be able to bring that looking like brand new, but it's going to be interesting how much improvement we're going to see on that, because you can tell right here where you got the engine fan pulling like dust and stuff is kind of chafed away
Right.
at the paint right there.
Right.
Then to see what you're able to do on that. All right, he did half of this black. I mean, you can see the line right there. I mean, I can see how many gray hairs I got in my beard right over here. That is, wow. And we didn't even put the ceramic coating on yet.
But again, if you don't do the prep work, you're just putting ceramic coating over,
Dirt,
a dull, hazy surface.
yeah. That's impressive. You certainly know what you're doing. This ain't your first rodeo.
You know, even that had a lot of oxidation on. You can,
Yeah.
and now, you know, you can see more of the oxidation, you know, especially right through here. You know.
Yeah, real oxidized with it removed. All right, we got a test plot here. Got half the hood taped off. To the left has been polished, and to the right has not been polished yet. And remember, this is still no ceramic coating. We're just trying to get all the oxidation off the paint and getting the paint into real good condition to be prepared for the clear coat. All right, I got a pretty good angle here.
Ready for the reveal?
Rip and reveal. Yes, I'd say the difference is very clear. No pun intended.
Yeah, you can see what was ever there. That's gone now too.
Man, I mean, I knew the hood wasn't in great shape and it was steadily getting worse, but just that's pretty revealing right there.
Yeah, in that same spot.
I mean, that is, woo.
Oh yeah.
And then if you notice, there's a spot right. You notice there's a spot right here in the hood, and it went over here, and he was able to. I mean, you can still see a little bit of blemish in the paint, but it's so much better than what it was. How's that blue paint looking to you now? So much prettier than John Deere green, isn't it? I gotta get somebody stirred up. You impressed with it, Carter? You want to hit the green machine over here with some ceramic coating?
Please.
I don't know if you got.
Comes right off.
I don't know if you got enough Benjamins in your bank account. We all put in some serious elbow grease today.
You got to make it look good. This is one thing Robox can't replace us with. So what we'll do after this is we'll basically do something called a paint prep. So that gets all the polish off the surface. So then we can come back and coat it.
Ceramic coat won't make it any shinier or glossier, will it? I mean,
Potentially, yeah.
because I thought it's supposed to be just a clear, hard finish, and really let
it
the paint
is,
shine-
but
paint shine
it
through.
adds gloss and depthness. And every surface is a little different, especially will on yours. That metallic is really, I think the metallic's really going to pop.
Man, look at the top of this hood. Still got just a little bit of buffing to do right there, but ooh.
Not bad for 10 years old. No, there's no wax on it.
It's just clean.
Yeah, that's just polished.
I mean, I can see that each individual LED from the reflection of my overhead lights right there.
That's what it's supposed to look like new. I think the difference is more noticeable on the New Holland Blue than the John Deere Green.
Like I said, we'll get to test that out tomorrow. And now you're starting to apply the ceramic coating now, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Tell me a little bit about that product you're using.
So the product that's going on the Durango is OptiCoat Pro Plus. It's a two-part system. First part we're putting on now is the Pro part.
Now, that product is one of the only ones made in the USA, right?
Yes, sir. It's made in Memphis, Tennessee.
And basically, you just wipe it on, let it flash, and wipe it off.
Well, we're not wiping it off. We're just leveling it.
Gotcha.
So once it flashes, just level it. And then we'll come back here momentarily and we'll put Pro Plus on. And that's going to impregnate into OptiCoat Pro.
And what was the curing time on this before it can get wet, were you saying?
So it 99% cures in a week, full cure in about 30 days. What we're going to do on this one is we're going to put, once we're finished, about an hour after we're finished installing OptiCoat Pro Plus, we're going to put OptiSeal on it, make it a sacrificial layer, and in about 7 days it'll just shed. But for the next few days when you're driving this, if you get into terrain or bugs or anything, it's going to be protected.
Okay. But if you weren't to put that sacrificial layer on top, you wouldn't want to get it wet for a good 7 days?
Well, you definitely don't want to wash it for 7 days. The longer the better. You know, if you can keep it in a garage for, you know, week to weeks, I mean, that's perfect, of course, but obviously it's, people use their cars every day, and, you know, can't expect everybody to do that.
But here during wintertime, until it's fully cured out, the salt they put on the roads is not going to be beneficial to the coating.
No. But like I said, chemically it's going to be cured 99% in 7 days. So in 7 days, if you were to drive on a road that had salt on it, especially knowing we've got OptiSeal on it, I wouldn't have any concerns.
But anyhow, we're in Tennessee. I don't think we're projected to get an ice storm in the next 7 days, so I think we'll be all right.
At least you're in Tennessee where they decide to do put something on the road, unlike Alabama where they just leave everybody to slide where they want to.
Well, I can see a difference right here in this line. It's darker, glossier, where well, that's really picking up good in the camera too.
And when we put the Pro Plus on, you'll see that even more. About 30 to 45 minutes after we install Pro, we come back, we have a window there where we put on Pro Plus, so it actually becomes one with Pro. So,
and the Pro Plus is what gives you the 7-year warranty.
Correct. So on vehicles 18 and newer, 5 model years old, you have the 7-year warranty, and it drops to it's actual 5, I believe, without that. But again, it's one of the few products on the market there's actually a warranty.
Well, talk to me about that. How do you know that there's a problem with the ceramic coating? That, I mean, do you see it peeling off, or
more so? Let's just say a deer hits this back panel and you got to replace it. You get it recoated for free in that time period.
Oh, okay.
So you'll know if the coating is failing, if it loses hydrophobics, if it doesn't look as glossy, and on some coatings out there, I'm not going to name names, but they will actually change colors and make the vehicle brown. You will see peeling, so it just depends. There are a lot of cheap coatings on the market, but this coating's been around for 15 years, very few failures, very few claims. But most of the claims are if you get in an accident, you have to have it recoated. It's covered for free.
Well, that answered one of the questions I had. All right, tell me a little bit about this product you're putting. I'm assuming you're putting on the ceramic coating right now.
We are. So right now we're just finishing up the hood. We've got the fenders. We've got right underneath the hood here in this black area that really came out looking good.
Yeah, the depth on that black right down there, it's almost like you can see straight through the engine block to the other side.
You get down there, you put that camera in, your viewers are going to be seeing the camera.
They can tell what model camera I'm using right there. But this is actually an American-made coating, isn't it?
Correct. So this is made over in Memphis. So the coating that we're applying, not to get too scientific, but it's an SiC-based coating as opposed to an SiO2-based coating that most consumers, either when they buy on their own or they get a detailer to put ceramic coating on their car, 95% of the coatings on the market are an SiO2 based. The biggest difference is the coating that we're installing here has significant chemical resistance and UV inhibitors, so that when this thing's out in the field for years on end, and you bring it back to wash it, and everything that's, all the bad stuff that's on it is going to come right off. You could actually sit here and pour ethanol on it, let ethanol sit for an hour, and it wouldn't go through and damage the paint at all. That test was done. It's been tested all the way down to a pH of 0 with battery acid. And again, sitting on the surface doesn't harm the paint or the ceramic.
So basically it's impervious to just about anything.
Correct.
other than mechanical means.
Correct.
Now this product differs a little bit from what you do with a passenger vehicle, right?
A little different. The formulation is based it's based on the same product. The chemical resistance part that is not needed in a car is really the biggest difference on this. Not to mention the way this bonds with this surface, because there's not, this is not a clear coat automotive paint. This is single stage paint. You're looking at on this tractor, you've got a combination of gel coat, fiberglass, plastic, a little bit of metal. It bonds to all those surfaces the same way. So what I'm doing is just leveling it, make sure there's no high spots, not wiping it off, so to speak. There's actually, nothing on here.
I do know one thing, it's really making my grills look bad. I want to tend to that. You can really tell there's a depth to the paint that I've never seen before. It sure would be nice to do this coating before we had, imperfections in the paint, which you removed a lot of them, but where there's no paint, you just really can't do a whole lot with it. So the ceramic coating part is taking you grand total of what, maybe 30, 40 minutes, but the prep work took you at least a solid day working on it.
Oh yeah. It's, it's like we've talked about a couple times. Doesn't matter what you're doing. you know, medical procedure or painting a house. It's all in the prep work.
All I can say is, wow. I am blown away. I never thought that this paint could be restored back to this condition. I guarantee you this tractor didn't look as good brand new when it got off the boat in New York City after coming across the Atlantic Ocean from where it was built in England. I guarantee you brand spanking new, that paint did not look that good. Here in just a minute, I'm gonna pull it outside and do a side-by-side comparison of an identical tractor that we've got that has not yet been ceramic coated. All right, now on our sprayer here, just a few weeks ago, we applied a ceramic spray on ourselves, and now they're doing the paint prep. So see just how well their solutions work on removing any existing waxes or ceramic sprays. Also show you that these ceramic sprays, even though they're labeled ceramics, they're not true ceramic coatings, and will come off of your paint pretty easy. You see initially how well the water is beating up, but I don't think that's going to last long. All right, so you got something to show me here?
We just started our cleaning and decontamination process, and what I've done is half of this hood. Now this hood and a couple other parts here was previously coated with, I believe, the Turtle Wax.
Yeah, the Hybrid Solutions ceramic spray.
Correct. So one of the things that we tell people is there's really no protection in these sprays. And as an example, all we've done is we've started with our base cleaner on half of this hood, and you can see just from the hydrophobics, when I spray water on the side that still has it, yeah, it looks great, it's beating up. But this side over here,
See, there's it.
It's flat.
So this is where the ceramic spray is still on there, where before they've done the cleaning. This is after you've done what, two solution sprays?
One.
Well, you just sprayed one solution on here, and see it's basically almost gone. And on this sprayer, I personally, what we do on all of our equipment after at the end of every harvest is we pressure wash everything, hand wash it, then we take a clay bar to the paint, and then we've been using the Hybrid Solutions ceramic spray putting on all of our equipment. And yes, it has definitely lasted longer than wax, but as you can tell, it's not anywhere close to a permanent solution. Just after one cleaning solution, there's very little of it left on here, whereas this side of the hood, where they haven't applied the treatment, it's still beating up pretty good.
And the key thing is we haven't done anything here. We haven't physically put a machine on the surface. We haven't put a glove on the surface. All we have done is sprayed on our first cleaning product and sprayed it off. So similar to what the ceramic spray, where you sprayed it on, we were able to just spray something on and it came off.
So, if one cleaning solution does that, we're dealing with a sprayer that applies, pretty corrosive chemicals all year long. Any ceramic spray that you put on there, I mean, it helps it look good while it's under the shed during the winter, but once you bring it out into the field, it's gone very, very quickly. So when you're looking at all the ads geared towards consumers, just because it says ceramic on the spray bottle does not mean it's actually bonding to the paint and giving you the protection that a lot of these claims are actually claiming to. What we've noticed past couple of years since we started using the ceramic spray, it'll make the water beat up on there for somewhere between 3 and 6 months, and then halfway through the summer, there's nothing left on there to protect your paint. But with this ceramic coating you're going to put on there with proper maintenance, I mean, it should last the life of the machine. And correct me if I'm wrong, this is not a cheap service, but the bulk of the cost deals with the amount of labor it takes to properly prepare the surface rather than the actual product that you're using.
Correct, because I mean the product is expensive because it is a professional grade coating, but if you think about how many times we're going around this unit, right? So couple different times, depending on the condition. Now, granted, this was just washed, I believe you said 2 weeks ago, so it's not as dirty as the New Holland was yesterday, but we still do the same process because we still have to prep the surface the same. But all those trips around, and this is obviously a bigger piece of equipment, all those trips take time. And getting into, when we get down lower, there's a lot of nooks and crannies on something like this versus a more traditional tractor that's almost wide open panel.
So if you got somebody else saying they're going to apply a ceramic coating and be in and out in a day, most likely they're not putting in the proper prep work to get the most out of that ceramic coating. Well, we got the remnants of that pesky logo. Looks like you having a lot of success getting off there.
Looks like it was on there for a little bit.
I had it on there for 3 years. Boy, that stainless is shining. All right, y'all ready for the side-by-side comparison? The tractor that Front Row Detailing just got done is a 2013 model New Holland T7.270 that we bought used. It spent a lot of its life out in Colorado, out in the outdoors. Probably hadn't seen the shed all that much. We've owned it now for 4 years, and it's been under shed, and we've waxed and detailed it and tried to keep it looking as good as possible and get it back looking as good as possible. The other tractor that Front Row Detailing has not done is a 2015 model, 2 years newer, T7.270, almost an identical tractor to the one that they detailed, and we've owned it since brand new. It has been shedded whenever it's not out in the field, gotten waxed every single year, cleaned up really good, tried to keep it looking as good as possible for as long as possible. Now guess which one is which? This one over here is the one that Front Row Detailing just got done ceramic coating, restoring all the paint and all the plastics. This is the 2 year newer one that we have either waxed or ceramic polished every single year. In fact, this tractor right here we just came out of our shop about 3 weeks ago. After getting the ceramic polish applied to it, we clay barred the paint before applying the ceramic polish. We applied Armor All on all the plastics and everything to try and keep them looking new. I don't know if it's really picking up on the camera, but I can see a huge difference here. The color has been restored to this one to a darker shade of blue, the true natural color, while as this one has paint oxidation on it. The clay bar that we use on this removes all the surface contaminants, but it won't really do much removing oxidation. All right, I mean, the paint's in pretty good shape on this tractor we haven't had done, but a little bit lighter shade of blue oxidized, and you can't see my reflection in there. Now this is the one that has been detailed. Definitely a darker, prettier shade of blue, and then I mean, look at that black. You can see my reflection very easily in there. You say, well, I got sunlight on it. Anything look better than sunlight. Let's get over here in the shade. I mean, I could shade with that. That's mirror-like. See, way more dull. And this has been meticulously taken care of, probably better than anybody else takes care of their tractors for the last 7 years right here. All right, let me show you some of the plastics. Got front fender here. I mean, we're meticulous about trying to keep it cleaned up, but there's still some fading, some oxidation. Here's an older fender that's being restored, and that's pretty dang close to the factory original. They weren't able to remove all the imperfections of it, but it's pretty dang close. And look at it here in the sunlight. Hadn't had anything done to it other than cleaning it and applying Armor All to it. Been restored. Now, there's not as big a difference in that as the fuel tank and the exhaust shields. Clean and Armor All. Now this is fiberglass, not plastic. Clean and Armor All, but you can tell heavy oxidation, heavy fading. Here's what they done to this one. Wow. Look at that. Amazing. Fuel tank over here is plastic. It's in better shape on our one that hadn't been done. This is after detailing right here. I mean, that looks better than brand new. Now we cleaned the windshields and then put ceramic polish on the glass. And I mean, it looks reasonably well. But you can still tell there's glass there. Now look at that. Is there glass there? Yep. But you could have fooled me. Top of the cab. Picture perfect. And like I said, before they started working on this tractor, the paint and everything else was in a little worse shape than what this one was. Been exposed to more elements, 2 years older, kept shedded the majority of its life and really taken care of. I mean, there's a pretty dang big difference. Don't know how well the camera's picking it up, but to my eyeball, it's definitely passing the test. Well, I'll just go ahead and tell you now, if this tractor over here is still beating up really good come next December when I put it on the wash pad, just go ahead and put me on the books to have this tractor done this time next year.
No reason it won't.
It looks great now. How's it going to look after a year in the field? I have every bit of confidence it's going to look good. But time will tell. Man, look at that difference. Line right here. Polished. Original. That's how much these John Deere equipment, how much you can oxidize in just 4 short years. Even with having wax and ceramic polish put on it the last 2 years, that's what can still happen. Well, you got this stainless steel tank all nice and shiny. Got I can't even tell that there was a decal on there now. Now versus this side, it has not been done yet. You still see the Helena logo up there. Holy moly, look at the plastic on here. Brian, the paint looks fantastic, but the plastic, this black plastic's really what's catching my eye. Ooh, me. I can't take this as a field now. Well guys, if y'all been viewers of our channel for very long, you know I'm pretty anal about my equipment, how we take care of it, how it looks and everything. And Brian, I gotta say I'm impressed, and that's no small thing coming from me. It's pretty hard to impress me.
Thank you.
Y'all have done an absolutely fantastic job. I mean, this sprayer's got about 3,200 hours on it, so it's covered a lot of acres. It's been in the field 5 years. And I guarantee you it didn't look this good coming from John Deere. That paint is popping. And now I don't have to worry about it anymore. that paint is protected now. Don't have to worry about my booms anymore. No more gonna have to strip them down and get them sandblasted again. If this coating does what the manufacturer says it does, this sprayer is protected from everything that we spray, all the fertilizers we put out.
Got a combination of black and green and stainless.
I mean, for as good as that green looks, and I'm not one of those guys that wears green underwear, but for as good as that green looks, what's catching my eye is that black plastic. I mean, my gosh, that is, woo. I'm liking that. Well, Brian, this is going to be the end of the video. Tell everybody how they need to get in contact with you. You said you're going to set up a landing page here in the next week or so.
Right, so we're gonna have a link in the description below, maybe even up top here. It'll take them to a landing page. It'll be basically a customized landing page for Griggs Farms. Have all the information on name, email, phone number, what type of equipment they got. We'll get back with them. So when they do go, if they are interested in booking with us, they're going to get a discount based on the fact that it came from your site. So we're in our website. In the meantime, is frontrowdetailing.com. frontrowdetailing.com. You can hit us on Facebook, hit us on Instagram. We're based out of Huntsville, Alabama. 256-715-4000 is our phone number.
And what'd you say your geographic area is that you like to cover?
Pretty much 6 states. So Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, Mississippi, Arkansas, and also Missouri's close enough, so add that one in as well.
Or if a person has enough units, you might consider going a little bit out of that range.
Depending on the job, yes, sir.
Well, guys, that landing page, I'm gonna have it. Definitely gonna have it in the description of this video. Also, at the very end of this video, one of those pop-up boxes you can click on. I'm gonna have it there. Have you already got me on the books for next year?
Absolutely.
I got a combine out there. I'd like to make.
Especially when you get that new unit.
Well, I don't think I just bought that cotton picker. I don't think there's going to be a new unit coming next year, but you never know. But definitely want to get my other big blue tractor done. I'd like to.
Still liking the blue. I think the blue pops. We'll have to see this one out in the sun, but that blue pops in the sun. We'll see with the John Deere green.
I always thought blue looked better than green anyway. I don't think Dylan Joyce like to hear that, but I think you can do some good on my combine, that other blue tractor, and hopefully this time next year, hopefully I've got a pickup truck I'd like for you to do. So I'm about ready to get rid of the one.
Yeah, we've been talking about tractors all week long, but obviously we do cars, trucks. We do a ton of RVs. RVs oxidize more than tractors do, so we do those back in Huntsville at our shop.
Boats?
Yeah, we do boats as well. We're looking to do some houseboats. Obviously, those can't be moved, but a lot of our partners up in Tennessee do a lot of ceramic coating of houseboats as well. So there's a lot of products or a lot of vehicles, I should say, that can benefit from ceramic coating.
Now, how does your schedule usually work? Somebody wants something done. How quick? I know you got to me real quick. Mm-hmm. How does that work as you go throughout the season?
Everything depends. I mean, we had a call today from. When we're filming this, obviously we had tornadoes in Alabama yesterday, and about a mile away from where a tornado hit, customer called today, so we're going to go down there next week. He's got a tractor. He's got several tractors. He wants to start with one tractor first, but sometimes, I mean, a couple weeks out at most, usually.
Well, guys, hope y'all enjoyed this video. Hope y'all learned a lot of the ins and outs of ceramic coating. There's a lot of, you can see a lot of stuff on the web. Don't really know how accurate or how truthful is some of that stuff is. A lot of it is half truths, but I will say from personal experience, whoever you get, whether it's Front Row or anybody else, the money and the long lasting and the lengths of how long this stuff lasts is all in the prep work. So if you get somebody that says he can be in and out of there a few hours or do a job like this in half a day or a day, go find you somebody else that's going to put in the proper prep work, because this kind of work is not cheap, and you want to make sure you get your money's worth. And I was really impressed by the level of detail y'all went into in preparing this machine. The coating itself takes almost no time at all, but it's getting the paint right to accept that coating and to bond to it. Really takes a lot of work. So y'all make sure you do your research on whoever. If you don't get Brian in Front Row to do it, make sure you do your research on who you do get to do it and whether they're going to put the level of work needed to get a really good job on your piece of equipment.
Along the lines of the research, on our Facebook page over the course of the next couple of weeks, we'll be doing a lot of testing with some very, very bad, I don't know another way to say it, bad chemicals, showing how our coating stands up to these chemicals to compare to some others out there who are more marketing companies than coating companies. So I know what ours can do from battery acid, all the way to ethanol and nitrogen. So it's going to be interesting to see, these side-by-side tests, so people can actually see that, you put coating on something like this, or our coating on something like this, it doesn't matter what comes out of those sprayers, it's going to be able to handle it.
Mm-hmm. We're going to be putting it to the test here pretty soon, and y'all keep tuned to my channel. I'll try and give you updates as we go throughout the year, what I notice, and especially at the end of next year when we get all of our equipment clean, see how well the hydrophobic properties hold up on the ceramic coating, because if it's still hydrophobic, I know it's still definitely doing the job. So I'm going to be paying pretty close attention to that probably next December. So y'all stay tuned for that. Well, Brian, I appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely.
Y'all put me on the books. I got some more stuff I want you to do next year.
That's good.
As long as I got a decent crop. Well, guys, there you go. There's the finished product. My goodness, look at them. I know there's a lot of people out there with green underwear on, and yes, the John Deere green does look great. But blue's always been my favorite color. I mean, look at that blue. Woo! It's gonna hurt my feelings to take this stuff to the field now. Anyway, Brian and the son, Front Row Detailing, they've already headed back to Alabama. It was later in the evening when they got done, dark. So waited till today to do the final reveal. And there's a couple things I wanted to say on the video without them being here. A lot of my regular viewers already know this about myself and our farm, but for any new viewers out there that maybe this is the first video you've seen, on our farm, we really care about our integrity, our trustworthiness, and we want to be a credible source of information on the internet. There's a whole lot of misinformation out there, but we want to be a credible source of information. I don't know if this coating is going to do everything that Brian says. Only time will tell. But being as how we just had this done, what I can guarantee you is that Brian and his crew go to extreme lengths to prepare the surface to give the best possible result. That I can guarantee you. Now on our farm, we don't promote a lot of products. We only promote the products and services that we absolutely believe in and that we use ourselves. We don't promote something just because somebody's paying us or wants us to advertise their products or anything like that. We're not like that. We really care about our credibility. We want other people to be able to trust us. So for me to come out and say that I'm a big believer in Front Row Detailing, to me, that's a pretty powerful endorsement. I believe in the crew. They do a fantastic job. I mean, at the very least, they have really brought the color back on the paint on our equipment. I'm really tickled with what they did. As far as the product, I believe it'll work. Everything I've researched says it'll work, but only time will tell, and we like to test things out on our farm. We like to have own personal experience. So I can guarantee you this time next year when we're cleaning up our equipment, I'll be letting you know what I think of the coat and how well it performed and whether I'm as happy with it then as I am today. Now, my personal opinion about this, yes, this is a very expensive process. But if you're the type of person that you've got plenty of time on your hands, you don't mind washing and waxing your equipment, once every few weeks, once a month or whatever, you can probably get the same, you can probably get about the same amount of protection on your paint and keep the paint looking good. Your waxes and your ceramic polishes, I mean, they do a good job. I don't think they do as good as a ceramic coating, and they most certainly don't last as long, and I don't believe that they offer you the level of protection. But if you're willing to maintain your paint, spend the time, every few weeks, every once a month to really take care of your paint, that might be a better option. It'll definitely be a cheaper option for you. But the old adage, you get what you pay for, has been true for no telling how long, and it's always going to be true. You get what you pay for. I think we got a superior coating on our paint, and we're not going to have to worry about the paint anymore being damaged by the chemicals we're spraying on the sprayer, the dust out in the field, the UV rays from the sun. I don't believe we're going to have any problems with the oxidation on our paint, and I believe that these machines, with us being able to maintain them and take care of them, I believe these machines are going to look better for whoever owns them down the road. We won't own these forever, but I hope that they're going to look just as good when we sell them to somebody else as what they look today. And I hope those people that buy these machines can really appreciate the level of detail that we go into to take care of our equipment. So the bottom line for me, only time will tell, but having this process done to our equipment is going to be worth it to me, because it's going to mean less time we've got to spend cleaning and detailing our equipment in December when we got so many other things going on. Plus, we don't have time to, hand wash and wax our tractors all throughout the year. You know, we're constantly in the field doing stuff, needing them, and if we're not in the field, then usually we're fixing something on our equipment. And you know, the washing and the waxing, it only happens when we don't have really much else to do, and frankly, that doesn't happen very often. So now I got the underlying peace of mind that the paint is going to be protected. No matter what Mother Nature or us throw at it, the paint is going to be protected. So guys, I know this is kind of a long video, but I want to do a little bit different video than what I've seen on the internet. You know, I really wanted to dive down into the nitty gritty of what we were actually doing to the paint on our machines, why we were doing that, and how this process is superior to a lot of the other products you can buy on the shelf. Because frankly, there's a lot of misinformation, there's a lot of half-truths, and there's a whole lot of absolute lies out there on the internet with companies promoting their products and saying, you know, real easy to apply and takes care of your paint, gives you months or a year-long protection, and all that kind of stuff. There's no substitute for elbow grease, and to get your paint looking like this and protected like this, going to require some elbow grease. So anyway guys, I hope you found this informative, and if you're in the Mid-South, the Southeast region of the US, I highly recommend that you call Brian at Front Row Detailing. At the very end of this video, we're going to have a landing page that you can click on that will take you to his website, which will also allow you to use the promo code that he's given us from you seeing about his company on this video. It'll give you an extra discount in addition to any other discounts you might get from having multiple vehicles or multiple units to do. I also post a link to that landing page in the description on this video. So if you're in the Southeast region, I highly recommend that you at least hit him up, talk to him about your machinery. And then ultimately, if you decide to go with somebody else, do your research, make sure that a person or company is going to put the level of detail needed to get a successful coating on your equipment to protect it for a long time. So anyway guys, appreciate y'all watching. Before you know, it's going to be time to put these back in the field. And then you'll probably see me cry. See y'all in the next one.